Hey Planet Watchers, I hope you can see me and hear me. That's Claudio from PlanetWatch. It's great to be here, and let me say something before I start. I'm really amazed by the level of commitment and support and interest that you are showing for the project at large and even for my weekly AMA. I was not planning at the age of 58 to become a YouTube star, but that's what it looks like, slowly, but surely. Anyway, enough for the jokes, let's get down to business. Now, I have two fairly important pieces of news today. Since I'm a naughty boy, I think I'll share one right now, and the next one I'll keep it for the end so that you guys keep focused and attentive. So the first piece of news is that, as promised, on Friday, July the 30th, we'll open sales for the July batch of Arduinos. So people who bought a license and were among the first 50 people to do it for Type 3 and are eligible, they will get an email, as we said, notifying them that they can go and buy the device. They will have 1 week of time to buy it. If they don't buy within that week, they will move down in the price. They will be eligible for the September batch, but they will lose their place for July and August. Okay, so that we think is the most fair way to manage device sales when we do manage them. Okay, so once again, on Friday, you will be able, those of you who are eligible will be able to buy Arduinos. Okay. So that's the first piece of news. The second one is even bigger, but let's keep it till the very end. Now, coming to, we got, as usual, lots of questions. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to answer all of them, but rest assured that one way or another, all your questions can be answered either directly by me or through the support channels. You can open a ticket and all that. Incidentally, talking about tickets, let me remind you that for all tech or payment problems, if you don't get a solution to your problem via the Discord or Telegram channels, please do open a ticket. How do I open a ticket? Well, the link to the ticketing system is in the Telegram pin post, so it's easy to find. Right, so I cannot answer here support questions, but we do have a number of support options, and please use them. Okay, let's dive into the list of questions I got this week. First question, will price discussions ever be allowed in public chat channels? Now, we are not the boss of Telegram, so as far as I'm concerned, anybody can set up a group for PlanetWatch price discussions and run any discussion you want. We just don't feel it's suitable for our official Telegram group, but anybody can set up a group, and why not? It just has to be kept a separate topic, and there are good reasons for that. Okay. Now, next question. Does PlanetWatch already have agreements in place with certain entities to buy the air data that we are collecting? Again, very good question. We said several times that the whole point of generating data is to extract value from them, scientific value as well as business value. So where do we stand in that? Now, the answer is that so far, we are already selling some data, but so far we've been selling indoor data, but you don't see planets trickling down in the system just because we are selling indoor data to sensor owners themselves. Let me explain this. We have a number of indoor air quality monitoring projects for corporate customers such as hotels. So on one hand, they funded the sensors deployment. On the other hand, they are paying for premium dashboards and premium data analysis services. So they are, technically speaking, they are paying for the data, but they own the sensor at the same time. So I guess what the meaning of the question really was, is there any customer for data aggregated from the PlanetWatch community? So PlanetWatch's data from your Arduinos, your Type 2 sensors, and in the future for your from your Atmo tubes or indoor sensors. So this has not happened yet. we are talking to a number of city managers and also to some large corporate entities. So at that point, if they are interested in our data, there are, again, two scenarios. Either the data originated from sensors that they decided to buy in the first place. So again, you will not see extra rewards for your own sensors, or they buy ready-made solutions, bodies of data which are fed through your own sensors, through community sensors, and then PlanetWatchers, we do get a share of revenues. So, as you know, we are still in the very early stage of the project. We are starting aggregate useful amounts of data, but the road to over global monetization of the data is still long. But in terms of a business model, we already have some market validations from the indoor segment. And we are talking to a number of entities interested in outdoor data. So I think this will come. It's just still a bit early. Also because in order to make a data set, an outdoor air quality data set interesting for a city administrator, we need a very significant density of sensors within that city. The goal, as you know, is to have one type 1 sensor in each pixel and up to 5 type 2s. So when we do get to that sort of density, the body of data gets really important and acquires market value. And again, it's still a bit early for that. Question, will there be PlanetWatch merchandise like t-shirts in the future so we can further support the project? That's a nice idea, why not? But obviously it's not a priority for now. Incidentally, I don't like to repeat myself too often, but we are working like crazy. We are going to deliver very soon a new app, a new map, lots of new things, and this is a huge commitment from the technical team. And at the same time, I am 100% onto business development and some strategic deals. So we have to be very careful in the way we set priorities for the company, because there are lots of nice to haves, but we cannot move into nice to haves until we have the fundamentals further developed. Okay, question about tokens for members of the team. So in the last AMA, you mentioned that members of the team will receive vested tokens at the end of the year. Are there any sales restrictions in place? Well, the answer is what I said last time. Founders like myself will receive a significant amount of tokens spread over 18 monthly installments. So the restriction de facto is that you don't get them all at once, and so you cannot sell more than what you have. Personally, I'm not planning to dump my own token, if you see what I mean. But the vesting schedule is itself the restriction in some sense. Technical question about the recycle bin. Again, there are a number of things in the white paper which are perhaps not adequately explained, and this may be one of them. Anyway, the question is, PlanetWatch went live on mainnet late August, early September 2020. I guess it's right. Is this the time the recycle bin started to fill up? Answer, not really, because the recycle bin thing started to fill up when the new token model kicked in. And I don't even remember now when that was exactly. I should review the blog post. But there was a testing period between the launch on mainnet and the start of the new token model, where it was just a testing period. So, and again, everything is spelled out, I believe, in the white paper. This testing period is mentioned. So the answer is, it started a bit later when the new token model kicked in. Second question, does that mean that 1 year rewards for type 3 are intact by the time we receive our first sensors? So the question is, is there any active type 3 sensor in the network as of today, which is getting a bit of rewards from the type 3 bag? The answer is yes, there are a few. So we do have a few indoor corporate projects. So some type 3 sensors are already active in the network and earning planets. It's not significant really. It's well under 100 devices at the moment. So, but the honest answer is some type 3s exist in the network, just very few of them. So the big change would be once we start delivering the Kythera. The last question is there a universal recycled bin, or does each sensor type has its own bin? It would be one bin per type. So the growth of type 1 will not directly affect, in that sense, the type 2 bin, the type 2 budget at large. Okay, questions again about sensor availability, about Arduino. When will the next batch of Arduino will be available? And the goal is to put more Arduinos on the market in September, possibly end of September. Okay, another question about sensors and things. If I bought a sensor and license in the EU, then moved to another country, Brazil, for example, does my sensor still work? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me be very honest on this as well. The main challenge is a compliance channel. I mean, we are assembling systems which can work virtually everywhere. However, it may not be legal to operate them anywhere, if you see what I mean, because there are requirements about electromagnetic compliance in some countries. So despite the fact that your sensor might work in a different country from the country where you bought it for, it might be illegal to operate it in another country because it might be an uncertified device in that sensor. So I would just recommend that we keep it simple, we avoid problems. And if you say you are going to install it in France, for example, you stick to that. And if you need to change, just get in touch, open a ticket, and we can talk about it. Will the Kythera batch be split 50-50 between EU and US, or will the first 500 have priority respective of the country? Again, we think the fair way to do this is that we will allocate device based on the license purchase order across the board. Incidentally, we are trying to optimize US logistics and worldwide logistics at the moment, because if we optimize logistics, it means shorter delays and lower costs for everybody. So it's a complicated exercise. We are trying to keep it both fair and efficient. In the new app, it would be useful to have an indication when the system is down. Sure. As I said, the new app is coming soon. There will be a technical blog post tomorrow, most likely by Ivan. So you will learn more tomorrow. We won't be able to fix all the bugs and to give all the features which would be desirable right away, but we're working on it. What about air sensors which also purify the air? Well, not quite. I mean, we will give you the possibility to use Planets to buy air purifiers because we think it makes a lot of sense, but that's a different item from an air quality sensor. So as separate products, you'll be able to get air purifiers. Okay, there are other questions with concerns about stocks running out, people playing it unfair, like ordering devices in bulk from the e-commerce and emptying the stock. Now, we are not yet, I believe, at the stage where we should limit the number of licenses that can be bought on our website, leaving aside, of course, corporate deals, which are a different matter. So, I mean, we'll review this later if things really explode. For the time being, we felt it was not necessary to put explicit restrictions on the number of licenses you can buy, but this might change. But anyway, let's stick to the fact, as usual, right? We've been able to reserve 250 Type 1 and 500 Type 3 sensors for the community so far, and more are coming. So we are seriously committed to keeping the community happy and to satisfy demand. If we run into difficulties, of course, we'll review all the policies. Somebody is asking the details of the cellular network provider for the built-in SIM in the Type 1 device. I mean, we are using a global service provider, so I guess they get into some automatic roaming schedule wherever the sensor is located. So there is no preferred network operator. There is a provider which kind of let them SIMs automatically choose the most suitable network. Will there be more PlanetWatch NFTs released in the future? Yes, why not? But again, it's cool. It's nice to have at the moment because we have other priorities. The team is still reasonably small, although we're going to scale it up, so we can't do everything at a time. And the same goes for the next question. Somebody was asking about the possibility to paint Arduinos in whatever fancy colors, but making sure that it doesn't damage or affect the Arduino performance. And again, for the time being, please refrain, because as you can imagine, there are some sensors which could be affected in principle by paints and chemicals that you put on the sensor. So we can discuss this with a manufacturer, but it's best for the time being if you just install it as it is, and we don't mess around with it, even if it gets prettier. How much will the saturation level for Type 3 sensor be impacted by the proposed increase in Planet tokens? So this refers to the last AMA, where I said that we as a company have decided to boost rewards for Type 3 sensors out of our own pocket until the end of the year. So an extra 50% on the token payment rates, which are spelled out in the white paper. And what I said is that we do it out of our own pocket to begin with, and then we'll propose to make this structural, so that the increase in rewards will be funded from the reward budget. Of course, if we come to the point where we decide to fund it from the reward budget after taking the advice of the community, of course, the saturation points will be reached earlier. It will saturate earlier. But first of all, it's hard to make forecasts at this stage. Second of all, I think you should not overestimate the importance of these saturation points. It was just a nice number to have in mind. It's the size of the sensor set which makes the reward pie, become thinner. But again, I believe this will not affect in any relevant way the growth of the network, because there will be a number of reasons why I believe the network will grow regardless of this saturation point. And again, I don't want to discuss prices and things, but I think you can figure it out if you read the white paper. When will Type 4 sensor be available again? Great question. I believe all in all, it's a matter of a few weeks' time, because on one hand, as you know, Atmotive, the manufacturer, is just restocking. We got them to go into sold out mode, I believe. And on the other hand, we have this stock of 200 sensors which we own, but which have not yet been shipped to the Amazon warehouses from where we will dispatch them. So all in all, I think it's a matter of maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now. Okay, somebody is pointing out the relevance of other quantities that could be measured with regards to air quality. Other people also stress the importance of water quality measurements. Yes, of course, these are all things we want to do. Please wait a bit more. We'll try to include these developments in the roadmap, which again was promised by the end of July, and I see that it's already due 3 days from now, and I hope we can do it. But again, there are a huge number of things and cool, exciting, and valuable projects we can develop. We cannot just go too fast, because if you go too fast, you just hit a wall at some point. So I wouldn't want to hit a wall. Okay, then I have some questions about customs duties and VAT. So some people from some countries in Europe, outside the European Union, ask whether, they complain about the fact that customs duty can be very hefty, and they ask whether VAT is going to be charged. Okay, VAT, the law is very clear. VAT is only going to be charged to retail customers based in the European Union. If you are not in the European Union, you cannot possibly be charged VAT. The real challenge is shipment costs and customs, and we're just trying to optimize as much as possible. Incidentally, the best way to optimize these things is whether we can get local distributors to partner with us. Because if we send batches of devices to a local distributor, that reduces the impact of customs duties and things like that. So if you feel or if you know somebody who could become a local distributor for PlanetWatch, you can write an email to business@planetwatch.io. But that's the only really sensible way to improve, to reduce costs. And one more question about the Emirates partnership, which worries many people. So the question is whether we are making big deals with Emirates, so there will be lots of sensors deployed by Emirates. Well, there are sensor batches which have been allocated to corporate partners, but we are making sure once again that the individual PlanetWatchers also have batches available all the time. Again, all in all, corporate partnerships are useful to us because they accelerate our growth and our worldwide visibility. I believe very strongly this is positive, and that's what it is. As I said several times, as long as everybody plays by the rules, we all gain by growing fast and growing together. Questions about moving sensor from one location to the other. If you do something that changes the location of sensors, not talking about AtmoTube obviously, but about the, say, fixed sensors, let us know. So drop us a line, open a ticket, and we can discuss how to best achieve that. Somebody was asking about airqualitysensor.shop, this website which appeared for some time and where we hinted that Arduinos will be sold from there. Now the decision was to sell as PlanetWatch, sell directly. So that website is no longer active, and the resources have been included into our own team. So again, sensors will be sold through our website, .io for Europe and .us for the rest of the world. And type 1 is only Europe, unfortunately, so it will be on planetwatch.io. People complain, and they have right to do so, about bugs of the app with regard to managing the AtmoTube sensor. Now, we are about to release a new PlanetWatch app. However, fixing bugs related to AtmoTube, we are discussing that directly with AtmoTube, with the company. So it's a bit of a separate issue, but again, we're working on it. So again, there will be a technical post coming out tomorrow. So you will soon know about developments. But type 4 technical issues is a bit of a separate subject, and we work on it directly with the manufacturer. Now, should I go? Should I stay? Should I give you the most exciting piece of news? Well, very late, very tired. No, sorry, kidding. So that's the big news for today, I believe. We are signing, I signed one already, and I'll be signing another one later on tonight. We are signing listing agreements for the Planet tokens with 2 exchanges. And yes, one of them caters for North American PlanetWatchers. So we are making a major step forward towards global availability of planets. Actual listing should happen in September. Well, possibly even earlier, but I can't promise. So let's say that listing on this new exchange should happen as of September. And I believe, again, this is, as I said several times, is one of the big goals that we had, to make tokens available globally. The other big challenge is to make sensors available globally so that we can cover the whole planet. On the token side, that's a big achievement, I believe. So once again, when we promise something, we deliver. Let me self-congratulate just for 10 seconds. Now, seriously, what I mean is that when we say we are working on it, that's for real. We don't just say that to cut it short. So maybe as of next week, I'll be able to disclose the name of the exchanges, because they have different policies on this from Bitfinex. So the earlier we disclose the names, and the earlier we can start joint marketing, and you can get ready to sign up. So the earlier the better. And hopefully as of next week, I can disclose this. Now, I'm sure there were more questions, but I could not find the time to dig through all of them. Once again, we are really in an exponential growth stage. We are going very, very fast. sensor supplies are a bit tight, so that hampers a little bit the growth, but at the same time, we are receiving huge expressions of interest from the corporate world, and I believe we have the resources and the wits to make them beneficial to PlanetWatch. So, as I said, we're not being bossed around by anybody, we're not being pushed around. We are using partnerships to deliver the growth of PlanetWatch as it's intended to do. So, thank you for your time, thank you for your commitment. Keep watching the planet. Get ready to sign up on exchanges, on additional exchanges where you'll be able to buy planets or to sell them, or whatever you want to do. And keep it up. And thank you for your time. Bye-bye.